MI crew. You know what that stands for? Mildly informed crew, because you're sharp people,
And Aaron is going to stop reminding you guys what MI crew stands for because you are sharp people and we don't actually have to tell you that.
but it's fun to remind. Okay, so for this week's segment of Comfy Couch Talk Show Nonsense, first try, booyah, we have like three things planned. And one of the things that inspired me for this topic was like how I, as a black man, give a bad name to the black community, and how I, as a gay man, give a bad name to the gay community. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, I'm proud to be both of those things. And it's unfair to say that I'm giving a bad name to both of those communities when I didn't give a bad name to either one of those communities.
So Aaron's going to back up a little bit and tell us exactly where that came from, because what caused them to say that you give a bad name?
Okay. So I was listening to this podcast, and the podcast name of the podcast is Conversations with People Who Hate Me. Um, the author of the podcast, the main guy of the podcast, his name is Dylan Marin, and the premise of it is to go behind this, is to reach out to people that leave him hateful, nasty comments, exchange phone contact information with them, and to have like a recorded phone call and just talk about what led to the posting of the comment, how they were affected, how they were affected by what Dylan had to say, and why would they have to leave such a hateful comment in the first place, and would they do anything different in the end. And so one episode that stuck out in particular, the name of the episode was Flaming Como Sissy Queen. And
Flaming... Let you run that back one more time.
Flaming Como Sissy Queen. It gets worse every time you say it, at least in my opinion. And
it's horrific.
Yeah. And there's some irony and self-hate in that episode, because the guy who's calling Dylan a flaming homo sissy queen is a gay man himself. And he's calling Dylan a flaming homo sissy queen. Oh my god. That's...
We're gonna stop saying that altogether. That is now officially banned. So yeah, I'm not cool with that.
Mm-hmm. So he said, the reason I'm calling you this is because you're making a gay community, you're giving a gay community a bad name because you're weak and because you're just sensitive, and that gives us a bad name. And I'm just sitting here like, I've heard that too. About like being black and gay, or like how either one of those affects my personal life and all that other stuff. And I'm just like,
yeah, I have had similar, and maybe not necessarily in the same way, but I definitely have felt kind of, what's the right word to say? Maybe judged. Mm-hmm. Judged for being a different type of black woman. Because I am more sensitive and more soft-spoken, a little more reserved, and these are not necessarily traits that you are often find attributed to black women. Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, it doesn't make me any less of a black woman, and also doesn't invalidate my experience or, who I am as a person and how I've come to be who I am. Mm-hmm. Doesn't affect black people as a whole, as a community. I think it's awfully silly that people, look at you and say like, oh, you're supposed to be a representation of the whole community. Yeah. You're supposed to be the poster child. It's like every single person can't be the poster child for whatever community they're a part of. Yeah. We're all going to be varying whatevers,
Yeah, because one person I forget whose church it was. I forgot if it was my mom or dad's church. Aaron, you're not educated enough, and you're giving the black community a bad name for that. And while they hit me below the belt because I didn't finish community college, I'm not giving the black community a bad name because of my education or lack thereof. I mean, I finished high school. I am ashy.
What is it with you and like exclaiming your ash on camera?
I'm sorry.
Like, woo, I'm ashy right now. Like,
right now,
everybody know how ashy I am.
It's important. And or like how I go into certain black areas and black communities and I don't act the certain way. It's like, you're not giving us a good name. the way you dress, the kind of music you like, and all that other stuff. And I'm just like, wait, how am I? Okay. And then just being in the gay community and being experienced in like a certain lie down activity, and however many people go in and out of my room.
Wait. Being experienced in a certain lie down activity.
Yeah.
Use your imagination.
And how many people I share that experience with. I'm giving the gay community a bad name for that as well because of the hypersexualization of the gay community and all that other stuff. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I don't remember giving a bad name to anyone.
Yeah.
You know, I think it came from racist people.
Yes.
And it came from homophobic people.
Yeah.
So, like, let's be serious. Colin Kaepernick, Barack Obama, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, all American heroes, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
They've been reduced down to a 6-letter word. So.
Which is what?
The N-word?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, there's lots of 6-letter words. You're going to have to spell it now. Spell it out for me.
I'm doing my best not to say it. 46 days into 2018, I haven't said it once.
Yeah, we're going to give up on this mission for now.
Yeah, and so I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like, you could, like, be the most positive, influential person in your community, and a bad name will still be given to you.
Yeah.
And it's not fair for people within the community to say, you have to do this, you have to do that.
Or without, outside of the community. It doesn't matter. The thing of the matter to me is just like, it's really ironic to me that people want to prescribe one ideal set of characteristics to whatever community it is that you're going to call whatever, an oppressed community, whether it be the gay community, the black community, women, XYZ, doesn't matter what you're talking about. They're going to try to prescribe a certain set of characteristics that are ideal, that everybody should display. And if you're not displaying those characteristics, then you're shamed. And it's just ridiculous to me because I thought the goal of being a part of these communities and trying to educate people about, these oppressed communities would be to express and show that there's a lot of diversity within them and not that there is one way to be black or one way to be gay. I just find it really...
Man, you have to be fabulous. That's like a check mark that you need to be gay. Sorry. Like, I got my PhD in the shit, so...
He's doing exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying not to prescribe certain expectations on any one oppressed community, any community at all, because, frankly, there's no one way to be white either. Like, it doesn't matter what group you're in. Like, just let people live, dog. Like, let me live my life and be what feels good to me.
Yeah. No, definitely. So, I think we said everything we have to say about that.
Yeah. So, this school shooting, of course, it has, I think, affected everybody in a deep way. I think number one being that it is the 18th school shooting in 2018, and here we are, it's only February 15th. So it's very scary, very alarming to know that that many school shootings have occurred already this year. And first of all, I haven't even heard of all these other ones. This is the first one that I've heard of this year.
Some of those shootings, it was students brought a gun to school, or a teacher brought a gun to school, and then it was accidentally discharged, and no one got hurt, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
But it still counts.
It still counts as an issue with gun control, in my opinion, because it shouldn't be that easy for people to have guns at school, or in any public place for that matter. Yeah,
if we look at the shooter, I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to give him any more fame/infamy than he already has.
Doesn't matter.
He's 19 years old, and he passed all the background checks, even though at 11 he was what's the word, diagnosed autistic. He passed all the background checks to get an AR-15.
Now, autism is not necessarily a mental illness,
I
so
know. But
I don't really know what the laws are regarding as far as if you're on the further end of the spectrum of autism and you're not exactly as good with social situations. Does that factor into these checks when we're talking about gun control? I don't know where on the spectrum autism falls as far as like
mental, like
it's
not mental illness,
it's
and like
a disability. Yes,
I should say that first and foremost, because yeah, but like with how easy it is to get a gun, like we need to like look at who's getting these guns. Now, I'm gonna sit here and say this. I'm gonna catch a lot of flack from her when the camera goes off, but I do believe in the Second Amendment, and but that doesn't mean like I believe everyone should have a gun. Like everyone should not have a gun. Like the 18th school shooting proved that.
Yeah, I think Aaron is saying that he believes in the right for people to have a gun. I don't have any issues with anybody feeling that people have the right to have a gun. I don't personally want guns in my space. I don't personally desire to own a gun. But I don't think it would be right for me to prescribe to other people that you shouldn't have a gun either. It's like whatever makes you feel comfortable and confident. So I'm not going to say that I'm not supportive of the Second Amendment, but it's just not high on my priority list for myself. Yeah. I don't personally care to have a gun. I don't think that it's something that I find to be necessary. Yeah. But if you want that, do you. Yeah, however.
But like when it comes to things like this, and we know what the solution is, not saying my thoughts and prayers are with the family. Right. The solution is reform.
Yeah,
you know?
Let's look at these laws though. Like let's look at these laws. Like let's actually do something.
Not to sit here and say that thoughts and prayers don't mean anything. Like a lot of the families affected by it could just like have like their moment. It's like, oh my God, they thought about me, and that's great. Yeah. But on the grand scheme of things as politicians, thoughts and prayers are empty words that you say to get votes, and
or whatever,
or to keep your base happy.
Whatever.
Like
whatever.
That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. I'm not saying that's what it is. Yeah, it's just like, how I look at it.
I'm just rolling my eyes at it because I feel like I'm very desensitized to this whole topic and as a whole. Like I've been on and off Facebook all day long looking at, of course my timeline is lit up with all kinds of posts about the shooting and, different people throwing out suggestions about how we can make things better, and some of them we'll definitely comment on because some of them were kind of hilarious to me.
Commenting on my favorite one
right now. Go ahead.
We're gonna arm our English teachers with like Glocks. Yep. You know what? Because we, as like taxpayers, we don't buy them pencils and printer ink. Yep. But we're gonna start like incorporating.
Making sure they got guns.
I want Glocks in the budget. Yep. I want them to like take some SWAT like training classes. Yep. I want like as a future parent, I want to make sure my like child is learning about Romeo and Juliet, and if something pops off, their teacher,
pop, pop, pop,
basically.
Yep. I had to make that. I had to make that sound because it was so humorous in my head because that suggestion is that ridiculous in my mind. It's like that's the most ridiculous. Who comes up with these things? Who comes up with the concept of let's not provide teachers with all the other basic needs they have in a classroom. Let's make sure that they can shoot someone. That's more important rather than preventing the need to have a gun. With gun control, let's make sure they get guns too. Like, how dumb do you have to be? On what level do you need to reach to make a suggestion so idiotic?
You need to be NRA levels of stupid.
That's like the most retarded thing I think
it's ridiculous.
Clearly ridiculous. But then another one I saw was let's equip every school. I'm not going to read the exact whatever it was. It was a meme I saw, though. Let's equip every school with, 3 to 4 different veterans as cops to protect every school. And I'm just like, and people were posting it around. These are people that are actually liberals that are like, yeah, that would be great because there's so many veterans that need jobs and they'd be so willing to help the children. And it would just be a great thing. It would be a great program. And I'm like...
Again,
security guards are already in many schools. I don't see that making a difference.
Yeah, no, they're still getting in. But, again, we don't pay for pencils and printer ink but we're gonna veterans need jobs, obviously,
Yes.
but we're gonna give veterans an armed position.
Yep.
At all of our schools.
Yep.
Because I want
rather than instead of gun control, making sure that crazy people don't enter into schools with guns. Instead of doing that, let's just create more jobs for veterans. Because, that's theoretically a good idea. I don't know. But doesn't solve the problem in the least bit.
Stoner Circle, it's a great idea. On paper, it looks like a good idea. In practice, it's a waste of money.
It's just, come on, guys. Come on. Let's try a little harder. Like, a little bit. Yeah. Let's like, we could try a whole hell of a lot harder than that.
Yeah.
But, I think...
I don't want to talk about this, but I am. Did you see they're already trying to rehabilitate this psychotic person's
image?
Yeah,
we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. Because there's just too much negativity right now in my life. I don't need anything extra added on because he is not a human in my eyes right now.
Yeah, no, he's a monster.
He is a monster. We're not about to try and talk about his background and how...
I don't care about his background. I don't
care about his background.
I'm just so upset that his image is being rehabilitated, but an unarmed black man who had weed in his system, not high, weed in his system, deserved to die. Well, he had weed in his system. I agree with the cop.
And here we go back down to what we were talking about yesterday, because we had an interesting exchange yesterday while I was driving back from New Orleans. So I decided to be that SJW that decides to jump in people's comments and tell them about themselves because their arguments are weak. And so, what was it yesterday? Oh, yesterday, so whatever day of the week it was, sometime earlier this week, Tuesday, there was a cop that was shot in Chicago and he was killed. And they found the guy that shot and killed him, and he's going to obviously be tried. And he's a black man that has a history of being, a criminal. He's been in and out of jail, etc.
20 years,
yeah. Yeah, 20 years of being in and out of jail in the criminal justice system. He's got a history. But, they found him. They know who the guy is. He's obviously going to have a trial, and he'll be sentenced, and blah-de-da. That's the way the justice system's supposed to work, right?
Yeah.
So, my Facebook friend, we're not going to name no names, because I'm going to let you remain anonymous.
I don't want to. He blocked me. I don't give a damn.
No, we're not doing it. We're not going to do it.
He blocked
we're not going to be those people. We are not going to be those people. But I'm being petty right now because I'm talking about you in the first place. So if you happen to see this, whatever. Here are my comments. So he decided to share that the guy was found and that he was, there was this article about it from ABC News and who the guy was and how the whole thing went down, etc. And his comment on it was, he had a few things to say, but one of the things he said in his comment was, I wonder what BLM would have to say about this, since they have so much to say about it, if it were, the roles were reversed. And so I saw his comment and was like, let me go ahead and read this article and make sure, the BLM shooter wasn't he wasn't affiliated with BLM. He wasn't claiming that he was, empowered by BLM. None of that business was going on in this article. So I read it. For the most part, through and through. I skimmed it when I got toward the end because I was just like, I don't see any mention of BLM.
It was dedicated to the author, Commander Bauer.
I don't even understand why he would have mentioned that in the comments. So I decided, let me ask. So I commented. I said, just curious, why'd you bring up BLM? Was he claiming to be a part of BLM? What's your reasoning for that? And then it jumped off in the comments.
Yeah, I hopped on. At first, I was very, very respectful.
Well, go ahead.
I
got the screenshots.
I said...
very accurate questions. Pointing up to my comments.
Very accurate questions.
BLM condemns crime, criminal activity, and the killing of police officers. Maybe don't get your Your information from Fox News about BLM. Friendly suggestion. So, yes.
I was
very
respectful.
polite, friendly suggestion not to watch only one news source because, as we all know, the news is biased.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we should just leave it there because I got blocked because, like I said, I guess I was mean.
we said some other things. I mean, I came at it from the perspective of I genuinely wanted to know why he thought it was necessary to bring up BLM and that in that particular comment because it really was irrelevant. It had nothing to do with anything that was mentioned in the article. I really wanted him to support his claim as to why he needed to bring that up. It wasn't mentioned. Yeah. Why are you bringing it up?
Well, you told me this yesterday, and we're just gonna leave it at this. He lacks comprehension skills. He doesn't know how to have like a conversation. He can't stick by his point.
He didn't want to have a conversation clearly because, you know, I'm trying to poke holes in his argument just to show him, like, listen.
And he's not smart.
You really don't know that much about BLM clearly because you're bringing it up, making it sound like, you know, they're cop killers or they're telling people out here, like, let's go kill all the cops. Like, that's not at all what the movement is about. And it also is not, you know, there's a specific mission in mind, obviously.
Yeah.
So, without going all the way into it, yeah, he just lacks a lot of comprehension in general, and
he's willfully, he's willfully ignorant, and in my eyes, that's unintelligent. Like you a dumbass.
Yeah. So, yeah, his defense was, well, I have my opinion and you have yours, so respect this. And I'm respecting your opinion, but I'm also going to ask you to defend it.
Yeah, no.
I can defend my stance. You're going to defend yours.
Yeah. So, I got blocked. My feelings ain't hurt because, like, he ugly and he ain't that smart.
Yeah. I shrugged. I mean, I was driving home. I was somewhere in the middle of Illinois and was just kind of like, okay, well, that was my entertainment for the evening. So
we're gonna move on to our next topic. Yeah. How was Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras, NOLA was awesome. I was definitely peopled out by the time I was on my way home. I was ready to lock myself in my room for a day, and I did just that. But yeah, I ran into a friend from high school randomly on the streets of New Orleans. I just happened to be looking for food at the parade, and he was like, "Richelle?" I was like, what? It was one of those moments like, what? So yeah, ran into him on the streets of New Orleans. We went to high school together. He's actually from here, but he lives in New Orleans now. I didn't know that until I ran into him. But he plays the tuba, and he has a band, and they play on Bourbon Street.
I saw the Instagram video. Well, not the Instagram video, but like
yeah,
you sent the video. You sent the video.
Yeah, I probably sent a video. And I think I posted pictures on Instagram. But yeah, there's more to share, obviously. But yeah, his band is awesome. You guys should look him up. His handle is Too Bad online, and it's spelled like tuba with a D on the end, so Too Bad online. Because he plays the tuba.
No, I get that.
Yeah, but I don't want people to be like Too T-O-O.
No,
B-A-D. That would be the wrong spelling.
Definitely. So yeah,
NOLA was dope. The weather was kind of crappy most of the time, but it did get real nice and sunny and warm on Tuesday, and we went to the parade, which was the important day. And I got a bunch of souvenirs and a bunch of beads, and I didn't have to show anything to get the beads.
I forgot to ask about that part. Well, I know you weren't gonna. I know you weren't gonna show anything, but.
But I did see some TNA myself, and I saw,
tits and ass.
That's exactly what that stands for.
Yeah, in my crew.
Mm-hmm. So the TNA was definitely out and about in New Orleans. It was entertainment central. But I like the vibe in New Orleans. Like, yeah, it's a party. Well, okay. For Mardi Gras, I should say. I don't know about any other time, but for Mardi Gras, it's definitely a party town. Like, people are in the streets, going in, they're having a good time. But it's a different vibe to me. Like, it's a chiller party environment. You know what I mean? Like, people are not on 100. Okay. They're having a good time, and it's like enjoyable, but it's like a different, I don't even know how to put it into words. I also kind of feel like the culture of New Orleans is very much more community oriented, because I feel like it's really easy for you to like make a connection with people in New Orleans. Like they're just so willing to have a conversation with you about whatever XYZ. And I don't know if that's just a Southern thing, because I've heard that about, being in the South. And I've been to the South before. But I did feel like it was particularly specific to New Orleans. Just the ability to kind of connect with somebody over something random, or, they'll just have a conversation with you while they're checking you out. You're buying souvenirs and they're telling you about their experiences or whatever they know. People are just super willing to talk to you. Even my Uber driver, like, these people were just so very friendly, which is different than Chicago. I mean, you'll find it, but it's not the same. It's different. So it was a nice little getaway, good vacation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you had fun. Like,
ouch.
If you didn't hear, there was a thud.
Ouch.
From her elbow on our wall. But no, like, I'm glad you had fun. I care about your happiness. I am not an ice queen. I'm learning how to be there for people. Right?
Mhm.
I'm doing good.
Mhm.
I'm doing great.
Mhm.
I'm doing fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah, I am. But yeah.
I brought him a souvenir. He got hot sauce, and it was Harry Potter.
It was a Harry Potter theme, and like last week, I was like, I watched all of Harry Potter.
Yes, you did.
It was so dope. I watched some of it, like, you know what? We in Illinois. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. We're gonna let you fill in the blank. He had to think really hard about that one. Yeah. Should I say this?
I mean, I'm gonna do it later anyway, so.
No, I don't think I'll say that.
I'm not gonna say it.
Because it's not all that
legal.
Kosher.
Oh, kosher. Kosher.
It's not all that kosher in Illinois. But yeah, we're gonna stop rambling, because it is that time of the evening where we're going to kick back, and you guys should be kicking back as well. And you should also stay in touch with us. Check out our individual Instagrams. He is Mr.Aaron.V on Instagram. I am _L Ryan _ like L as in ELLE.
Yes.
And yeah, like and follow our Facebook page, Mildly Informed, and obviously subscribe to our YouTube channel. Duh.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next Thursday or Wednesday, depending
whenever we feel like.
We feel like it. Okay, let us live our lives.
Oh, you did not plug your updated blog.
I do have updates on my blog, so naturalforthis.com. Definitely go check that out. Also check out my Instagram, which is also @naturalforthis. And yeah, we'll have a video up on not this Monday, but the following Monday.
Oh, wish me a happy birthday.
Aaron's birthday is on Monday, so we'll be having some festivities for him to make him feel like a very special princess.
Yeah. I'm gonna get pretty too.
Oh my gosh.
All right, we love your faces, and we will see you later. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Bye.